Welcome to the show. If you're looking for a book to read, a fun read, let me recommend to you By the Swing's Gentle Sway. And it's such a lovely lyrical title, but it is set right here in Central Texas. And I have the author, DH Grisham, here with us. It is good to have you here today
Thank you for
to
having
talk
me.
about your book. Well, first of all, as an author, is this your first book or is it?
Yes, ma'am.
It is your
It's my
first
very
book.
first and everything.
Okay, well, that's kind of exciting. And so I want to hear all about your process. I'm
Okay.
fascinated with that. But if you would just kind of start us off with a quick overview
Okay.
of what By the Swing's Gentle Sway is about.
Okay. Um, if I had to sum it up, it's a love story. It's a love story of good friends, life, growing up in the 1960s and 70s. And then we follow those. It's a love story of family, your first love, your first kiss, you're meeting your soulmate, that type of love. That's why I call it a love story. It's just, I think we grew up in a very unique time.
Yeah.
Probably the last, at least my generation was probably the last without the digital impact and everything. We got it toward the tail end of my teen years and everything. But, we had to make our own fun up. We didn't have the games. We didn't have, as far as the video games, we didn't have cell phones, anything like that. So we had to go outside and make our own fun, from crawdad fishing the music we were listening to. So many different things
Oh,
there.
it's all woven through your book, your remembrances and recollections of growing up in Robinson.
Hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about that community.
Okay.
I grew up in Waco, and so I don't have that true small town
Okay.
experience.
Yeah.
I understand everybody knows your business.
They do, and that can be good or bad,
Yeah, right.
So, just in the neighborhood I grew up in, it was the Fain Estates. It was one of the newer, developments at the
Hmm.
time. I think it came about in 1958. We moved from Waco there when I was less than a year old,
Okay.
in February of '61. And so just a small little community, had farmland all around the residential section. And so we were kind of on the outskirts of Robinson in one sense, on the north side of Robinson. And so, the old road was what connected us to the old Robinson Road is what connected us to the main city of Robinson. But all that open land, we used to build forts. We used to, crawdad fish, like I said, ride our bikes, just getting all sorts of trouble as young kids, which we had a blast. It kind of had the best of both worlds. Um, I had a mid-sized city right next to us, so I
Hmm.
always came into Waco, did many different things.
Kind of the best of both
Yeah,
worlds, really.
best of both worlds, exactly.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Um, it's definitely got a poetic title, By the Swing's Gentle Sway. What does the swing represent?
Swing represents basically a movement through time.
Mm.
It's kind of like the hand of the clock, the pendulum,
Yeah, the pendulum, yeah.
moving back and forth and everything, and time just slowly ticks by. So, kind of by the swing's gentle sway. The working title for the book was The Swing. And I didn't like that. There was other books also that were named The Swing. And
Right.
so I was coming home from work. I teach at a women's prison in Marlin. And so I was listening to Collective Soul. And the song Porch Swing came on. So I was listening to it, and it just kind of hit me toward the end. Started thinking, porch swing, and then the movement of the swing. And then so it just kind of hit me right then, by the swing's gentle sway, was kind of an adaptation to what that song was kind of talking about, a porch swing and things that happen on front porches, in small communities and everything. And so that was where the title came from.
Yeah. It's funny, a swing is a child's toy. It's considered
Yeah.
a playground equipment and stuff. But it's something that adults get on. Not too long ago, I saw some video of Pat Boone, who's
Hmm.
in his 90s, and he was on
Exactly.
his backyard swing talking about the swing set he built for his kids
Yeah.
when they were young. And there he was just swinging up a storm in his 90s.
Exactly. So, we I think the story kind of opens up at Pecan Bottoms in Cameron Park.
Right.
And my dad swinging me and everything, and just that carefree, just joy that you have as a kid.
Yeah.
And, and the swing was so much of that. And the story kind of goes through, swinging at playgrounds, at the elementary school. It's part of the setting, Robinson Elementary. And then I end up in New Washington, Indiana, as far as at the New Washington, basically elementary playground, swinging my grandkids and everything, So it kind of goes full circle.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, it is definitely a coming of age novel. What themes were most important to you to explore through your eyes as the protagonist?
Let's see. For sure, the joys of childhood,
Yeah.
would be one. But with those joys came a lot of sad times, from the loss of close friends, especially in high school, to a loss of a young man in our neighborhood. Talk about it in the book.
Right, that figures pretty prominently.
Exactly. And so there's, the way a school is, when they announce the loss of a classmate or something like that. I've seen, a school go from just total, how schools are, high schools are in particular, very noisy. And then, when the announcement's made that we lost a fellow classmate, the school just goes dead silent for the rest of the day, And so it talks a lot. The book kind of goes into us getting in touch with our own mortality in one sense, as kids in high school, as young elementary kids when we lost an older, teenager in our neighborhood. And
Someone
then,
that you look up to
Yes.
and want to emulate. And,
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And then as we grow older, we're all faced with our mortality at that point. So it explores those things. It explores the turbulence of the 1960s and the early 70s, the Vietnam War.
Right.
It goes into the pop culture of the day, the music we were listening to. And I truly believe, that music is the soundtrack of our lives because we can hear a song and it'll take us right back to that moment in time, when we first heard it or something we were doing at that time.
Yeah. So how first person is this? Is this mostly fiction? Is it based on real people or
The events are pretty well all factual events.
Factual events.
Most of them are. Probably about 8 to 9/10 of
Okay.
the events actually happen in some form or way.
Okay.
Now, not exactly as they happen.
All right, I got you.
Kind of blew some of the
Artistic
stories out.
license?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not always in the timeline in which I have in the book. Close, very similar, but not always exact. The main characters are made up of about 30 to 35 different people I've known throughout my life. I've taken bits and pieces of them. Probably the most true character is Grant, and that's me in one sense, and kind of the attitudes I've had growing up as well as into my adult life.
I thought his name was kind of interesting. How did you come up? I've never heard of a Grant before.
I always liked the name Brant, and I had an older friend that was named Brant.
Brant,
and
yeah.
then so I just wanted to do a different take to it, and Drant kind of
Drant.
just came up, and so I've stuck with it all these years.
So you talk about the main character. Who are some of the other main
Let's see.
characters, primary characters?
Let's see. Austin would be one of the primary characters. He's probably based on about 6, 7, 8, 9 different people.
Different people, yeah.
And, a little of me in Austin, a lot of other guys that I've grown up with, over the years. He's kind of the one that goes into the military. And the story about Kosovo, that Austin ends up in Kosovo, basically when he was a young, soldier. And that is actually based on a true story. A gentleman by the name of Jamie Cooley that I used to work with at the Methodist Children's Home. We both taught out there. And I did some, licensing with him too and everything as far as it's the basic true story, but there's some dramatic stuff that really didn't happen in it, or it happened a different way, And Jamie has suffered with PTSD for many years now.
Right. Right. And so do you clear with friends that you're basing some of the story on
Yeah,
ahead of time so they're not
they know it,
surprised?
yes. And I've talked to them all and
Yeah,
everything.
good,
They've all
good.
been fine. But as far as Jamie would be the one that, I use more of his story
Uh-huh.
as it happened than any other,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Well, of course, in writing about me as a boy growing up,
Mhm.
I had brothers and I had three sons. So, all of it was pretty familiar, but it was
Yeah,
kind of funny reading
good,
just the various maturing
good
process that
point.
boys go through.
Some of us never mature too,
Well, and
probably.
then there's
So,
that.
I think we all fight against it to a certain extent and everything. And we done the group I run around with. We've done a pretty good job. We're serious when we have to be,
Yeah.
but we can be kids at the
Yeah.
same
Oh,
time.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Did you find yourself becoming emotionally attached
oh God,
to some
yes,
of your characters
yes,
as you
ma'am.
were writing?
You can ask my wife. I mean,
Oh, really?
it was just like I was reliving a lot of this stuff, and then
Oh.
you get into the characters as far as just things that happen, and you do get an emotional attachment to it and
Mm-hmm.
everything, even though it's a little bit of truth there, but most of it's fiction. It still has an effect on you and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Well, coming of age stories often develop some sort of or has a sense of loss or transformation to it. So, what kind of growth do your characters
oh,
experience?
that's a good question. Some probably never did grow up, as I
Well, then
said.
there's that the old Peter
Um,
Pan thing,
yeah,
yeah.
but we all had become more mature, and that started when we were 9 years old.
Yeah.
The character of Chris in the book, it was a situation where he had died in Vietnam.
Mhm.
In reality, it was a friend down the street, okay, from me. He was in high school. I was actually in middle school or junior high at the time, and he drowned.
Mm.
And he was one, a young man I always looked up to, and I kind of expressed that in the book. Um, and so he drowned out at Speegleville 2 Park and everything, hit his head on a ledge underneath the water and never came to
Oh.
the surface. Um, and we were standing in that garage just as the story tells, but in a different setting and everything. And um, we were trying to, we just been around him just, that day. Many of his good friends had been around him that afternoon before he died. And then I'd been around him, just a day, 2 days earlier, and he was older. And so just in passing, but we'd see each other and talk and wave and stuff like that. And so that was something that matured all of us real quick.
Right.
That was kind of that first reality check. I was used to older people dying,
Mm.
but he was the first young person.
Yeah, the
And
finality of death
yeah,
is,
and I just, it bothered me a lot, because that's not the way life's supposed to be. You're supposed to, live a good long life, grow old, and get married, have kids, grandkids, and then pass away. But it doesn't always work out that
yeah, and
way.
the happily ever
Yes,
after
ma'am.
doesn't always happen. So much more I want to talk to you about,
Okay.
though, because I do want to learn more about your writing process and more
Okay.
about your life
All right.
today. So we will be back. We're going to take a quick break, though. I want to tell you today's show is brought to you by Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where they are transforming houses into homes. Stay with us. A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
Good Friday to you. Meteorologist Craig Herrera. Here is today's weather in America. Watching some energy for the morning hours coming off of the Rockies with some snow in the higher elevations, but a little bit of rain for the front range of Colorado into Missouri. That extends over into portions of Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee today. We've got heat and humidity that will help to fuel some storms this afternoon. Could lead to tornadoes and also some gusty winds. Later this evening, some of that energy makes it to the mid-Atlantic as well. If you're across northern New England, a few light showers and high elevation snow. We've got the same going on for the Pacific Northwest, and a completely different storm moving over California will bring some rain, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches to some spots across Southern California and into Arizona. Could lead to some localized flooding. Snow for the higher elevations above 6,000 feet for San Gabriel, San Bernardino, and the Riverside County Mountains. Fox Weather has your latest forecast and weather news 24/7. Stream it on your favorite connected TV device for all seasons, for all America.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB Your Bank for Life.
Hey Waco, meet your new favorite email. It's called the Waco Buzz, the local newsletter that skips crime and chaos and gets straight to the good stuff. New restaurants, hidden gems, weekend events, and stories that make you proud to call Waco home. It's quick, free, and written by people who love Waco as much as you do. Join thousands of neighbors who already start their mornings with the Waco Buzz at thewacobuzz.com.
And I'm back with DH Grisham, who has written this great book by the Swings Gentle Sway. Now, this is a self-published
Yes, ma'am.
book.
Yes, ma'am. I had two small publishers that wanted to print it and everything, you know.
You
And-
pitched the story. And,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. But what they wanted to do, they wanted to divide it into two books.
Oh.
It is a longer book, you know,
Yeah.
and then so almost did it with one of them. And then actually sat down and talked to my wife the night before I had to make a decision. And, you know, we both came to the conclusion that the story wouldn't be the same if it was split into two. I mean, it would have worked, I'm sure. They would have known how and would have guided me on how
They
to
have
do it.
editors to help with all
But
that kind of
I
stuff.
think the impact of the book would not have been near the
Yeah.
same if it had been in two books. So I chose to go the self-publishing route from that
Yeah.
point. One reason, the process of trying to get something published, it could be 5 to 10 years. And, you know, I'm 65 now. I was 59 when I started the book.
Okay.
And so time was kind of running out in one sense. So that's why I kind of decided to do it. And I take a lot of pride in how we did it. It was done locally. As far as the cover, as far as artwork, was done by Greg Peters of Greg Peters,
Yeah.
Cartoons and Caricatures. He's a Daytime Emmy Award winning, basically does all sorts of caricatures. I have one of hanging in my living room that he did of me and my wife when we first met. And that actually ended up being in the book. And I call it the Misty and Trant caricature that he did. And then, he did the cover from basically my descriptions and pictures of the lodge, the 1894 lodge in New Washington, Indiana, which is a restaurant. And my son-in-law is the general manager and the chef of the restaurant. And there's a lot of co-owners in the business. But if you're ever there, stop and tell him I sent you, and he'll treat you right and everything. So,
Yeah. Well, and other local people
Yes.
who were involved with the book.
Kim Giles of By Design.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, she's
and
great.
Kim's an amazing person, and Ed Grug is too, as far as that goes. But Kim did the design of the cover and the interior of the book and everything. Kind of put it all together. She also served as kind of the editor of the book,
Right.
and did a lot of proofreading of it and made suggestions. And I had a number of different proofreaders. My
Yeah.
wife was one, and several
Oh,
friends.
so the more eyeballs you can get
Yeah,
on
exactly.
something, the
So-
better. So you say this has been several years in the process. When did the idea first come to you
God, when I was
to write this book?
when I was 17 years old.
17?
Summer of 1977.
Yeah.
As far as I was, me and a couple of my friends, we worked for the city of Robinson, okay? And we got those jobs with the city where we could get off and in time to go lift weights for football.
Yeah.
I think we got off somewhere about 4 o'clock or 3:30, depending on the day. And so it was a Friday afternoon, and we were kind of hiding in plain sight from our boss. We weren't much into doing any work that afternoon. So we got up on top of one of the water towers there in Austin, and then we just got our towels out, and one of my friends had basically a tape deck, and we were listening to Ted Nugent and Led Zeppelin.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
just kind of getting some sun up there.
Uh-huh.
And so, and we were joking around, kind of bantering off of each other, as we always did. And I just sat there and just had the thought, this would make a pretty neat story one day. And so that's kind of where it originated at. And then over the years, I wrote a lot of poems about growing up. And then those poems were actually what was the basis, kind of an outline for the book in many cases. And I just developed, a written story off the poem that I wrote about the event or whatever.
So you've always written poetry?
A lot, basically since my teen years. Yes,
Have
ma'am.
you?
Okay.
I just think that's cool. I mean, as a sensitive person,
Yeah.
So have you had any of your poetry published or thought
Let's
about it?
see. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the name of the talk show. Humphreys was his last name, and he used to be on here in Waco on basically the talk station here in Waco, and he was syndicated nationwide. He used one that I wrote about the Fort Hood shootings.
Oh,
13
really?
Dead in Texas was the title of that.
Oh, my.
Had one used, let's see, at the John Denver Festival out in Colorado one year. It's kind of used at the meet and greet. Had another one used it was just a real short one I wrote when I was in the Houston Holocaust Museum. And one of their directors used it at their annual banquet. Just
So
to
how
kind
did
of
they
show.
get your poetry? Did you send it to
Yeah,
them?
actually, I sent it to them and
Oh,
everything.
okay.
Is how I did it, and then those three picked up on it and
Oh, my
everything and
goodness.
used it. So it was kind of neat hearing it over the radio, because
Yeah.
he contacted me back by email, said, "Hey, we're running with this tonight, so tune in and everything."
I think that's amazing. That's
Rusty,
really
Rusty Humphreys was the name of the
Rusty
show.
Humphrey.
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
heard that name before. Was there a scene that was especially difficult to write emotionally?
Let's see. I believe it's chapter 17 or 18. She Said was the title of the chapter. And if you notice, as far as each chapter has a different name to it and everything, and it's either the title of the chapter is a song or a group. Okay, I think I have two groups that I name in it, and then but I believe it's chapter 18. She said, and I used I had to kind of get in a dark place, and so the song that kind of popped in my mind that night, and I'll end up listening to it some 30 times throughout the night. And I wrote all night long, just straight through, did very few revisions to the chapter, one of the easiest chapters I ever wrote. And it was from the song I was listening to was the Black Crowes, She Talks to Angels. And then I'll be honest, I took a number of shots of whiskey that night, and it worked really well.
I was going to
Between
say
the music
Hemingway
and the
drank a
whiskey.
good bit. I understand. Yeah.
It got the mood and the tone that I wanted and everything
Yeah.
for that.
Wow.
And it was about sitting around a gravesite, of a young lady that had just passed and everything, and just having a conversation with her, sitting in the cemetery in Robinson. Now, that really didn't happen, but that's where it was staged at or placed at.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned some of the music. Music really figures greatly in your book because it really kind of is the soundtrack
Yes, ma'am.
of anyone's life as a kid.
It is.
And I think we had the best music, don't you?
We did. I totally
No
agree.
question.
And the Beatles. I was 4 years old when they appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show. And, my granny said that you wouldn't believe how excited you were when those four young men came on.
I know.
And that was
we
my
all
first
saw that
45.
Ed
Yeah.
Sullivan, right? And
Yeah.
I Want to Hold Your Hand and
Exactly.
all those.
Yeah.
All
Some-
those great.
And there's still great music today. You got to look for it, but, and rock music has always been a love of mine.
Yeah.
I love country. I love all sorts of music, but rock's kind of been that one that just kind of pulls up my
Yeah,
at
yeah.
my
I saw
soul.
I saw something on Facebook. There was a young woman, and she's sitting in the car, and she is just grooving out to Grandpa's soundtrack. So is all the great songs that
Exactly.
her grandfather, which would be our music.
It
wouldn't
is.
Yeah. Did anything surprise you as the story developed, as you're writing it, where you thought, oh, it was kind of taking you in a direction you weren't expecting?
One of the characters, Travis was his name, and his nickname was Groovy. He was just going to be a small portion of the story, and he ended up being probably one, if not the major character, at least one of two major characters throughout the book and everything, and kind of added a little bit of humor, to the story, and just kind of the way that he spoke and everything, and that character was kind of based off of about 4 different people, just different characteristics that they had, so that was a surprise, one I wasn't really expecting when I started writing it.
Yeah, how things just sort of evolve.
Yeah.
How do you balance, though, just your recollection and nostalgia with the reality of small town Texas life?
Well, like you said earlier, everyone knows your business, okay?
Yeah, right.
And we lived in a time too to where you actually knew your next door neighbors
Right.
and the people that lived around you and everything, and people watched out for you, and if something happened at school, it would normally beat me home and everything. If I got in trouble at school, my mom had heard about it.
She already knew.
Before I walked through the door in many cases. So that's a lot of small town. And just, kind of that growing up in the Bible Belt in one sense, that kind of made us different, church as kids. We weren't perfect little choir boys or anything like that, but we were in church as kids, and
It was just expected.
yeah, it was expected. But we were just as mischievous. We cussed and we swore and we did all that,
Yeah.
too. But we had that backing, that background, and I think so many have kind of lost that nowadays in many cases. It's kind of sad in one sense.
Yeah, for sure. Texas really has a strong identity.
Mhm.
How does Robinson, as a setting, help shape the emotional landscape of this novel?
I think it captures the small town side of it. We, and kind of like you said, we kind of had the best of both worlds. It was a rural setting, but it was a city right next to us, and cotton fields all around us, wheat fields all around us, So we kind of had that country attitude. Like my parents and most of my friends' parents, they were just I was one generation off the farm. My mom and dad, they grew up in cotton farming families. I always say my dad's family, they were land poor. They owned land, but had very little else, and they had to hire help to help them bring in the cotton.
Sure.
My mom's family, and my dad grew up in Limestone County in Criswell, and my mom grew up in Purdon, in Navarro County, just this side of Corsicana. And so they were very poor. And as kids, mom said she wrote on the cotton bags as my granny and my grandfather would pull her through the cotton fields. And as she got older, she had picked cotton also, just as my dad and his brothers and sisters did. And both of them escaped, that farm life after the Great Depression in hopes of a better way of life. And they both ended up moving to the Waco area.
Yeah, yeah. So how does the sense of place, the porches, the swings, the slow summers play into the story's rhythm and tone?
The swing was, as a kid, like, as far as a child, the elementary swing set, that was kind of our area on the playground.
That was kind of your touchstone, I guess.
That ended up being a place that we would retreat back to throughout our lives, our young lives and everything. And the book kind of talks about that a little bit. If I was having a hard time, or a bad day or something, I may, as I got older and everything, I may drive down to the elementary and just sit on the swing set for a while.
Yeah, as an adult, we were talking about that. Yeah.
And so, it had that impact on us, and then the porch swings, at friends' houses or at my parents' house, there was a swing in our backyard. There was a swing in most of my friends' backyard.
Yeah.
And we'd be out there. That's where we would meet at, whether it be a porch swing or a backyard swing.
Or a tire swing. I
Yeah,
mean,
or a tire swing. Yeah, it was just kind of a meeting area to where you kind of relaxed and got to know each other and talked about things that were, important to us during the day, during that day and time.
Yeah. What advice would you give to a writer who wants to capture the feeling of a specific place or time period? Did you have any tricks along the way?
Just if you're writing about something, write about something that you're very passionate about. And sometimes I think that word's overused, but there's a lot of truth to it too. I mean, I loved my childhood. I had a great childhood, the good and the bad of it, And so that's something that I am emotionally attached to and have always been. And to my dying day, I will have that attachment. And it was just kind of like just going back through it again, it's kind of like a gift of love, I mean, it was just special, and I can't say how special it was, enough, it was just a good time to be a child or a kid.
Well, and I love my high school reunions, and we have through the years, I've been fortunate to be able to attend many, if not all of them, but there, were always an occasional student who would, we'd try to reach out to, tell them about the reunion. And one was like, do not ever contact me again. I hated my time in high school. And that's so sad.
It is sad. And, I've had friends like that, that they just would rather just kind of forget that part of their life, and it's, we tend to think, or at least I tend to remember all the good times. But then when I was writing this book, going down through it, there were a lot of dark days too,
Yeah, it's funny how our memories,
Yeah.
kind of color the things that happen. And that's okay. I mean, I think that's
Exactly.
part of life, because you're not ever going to remember something exactly the way it was.
Good point. And
Yeah.
we kind of sugarcoated a little bit, probably.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Are there other authors or books that kind of inspired you along the way?
well, of course, Mark Twain.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I mean,
um,
that's a perfect example.
yeah.
Yeah, a good comparison.
And the thing that, Miss May was my third grade teacher. She liked me so much, she held me back a year, and
But he
which I
just
needed
needs
to be.
one more
Yeah.
year.
And she was the best thing that ever happened to
That's
me.
great. That's a
and,
great attitude to have about
So,
it.
and, I
Because
love
you could have internalized that as a horrific
Yeah,
failure, and
sure
that
could have.
been, yeah.
And I just needed that extra year and everything.
Sure, well, that's
in
good.
First grade, I had pneumonia and chickenpox back to back.
Oh,
And I missed like 2.5, 3 weeks
No,
of
no,
school.
that's a
And so
lot,
that kind of
yeah.
got me behind. And
Sure.
Miss May got me caught up in the third grade, okay, the second time around.
oh,
But
that's good.
she used to read to us after lunch. And I know she read Winnie the Pooh to us. And then she read Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
And I can still picture her face as I'm telling this right now, of the animation on her face as she, read Mr. Twain's words and everything. And she just made the story come alive for us. And then I later read the words myself, of course. But that just, that just kind of captured. And as I was listening to the words, I thought, we do the same thing, we don't live on the Mississippi. We have our own little old crawdad hole
Oh, yeah.
and meandering stream, which is really just a drainage stream and everything for the neighborhood. But we did the same thing that Tom and Huck
Yeah,
did,
yeah,
So it was special.
And life lessons learned, whether it's whitewashing a fence or
Yeah.
whatever.
And the thing that that I didn't like about Mark Twain's book, I wanted to know more about what happened to him later on,
Yeah.
in life.
Right.
And that's what influenced me to kind of go into our late middle age. I skipped from after our young, early adult in our early 20s, I skipped from that point. That's where I kind of closed off the first part of the book. And then I skipped to our late middle age. And then you kind of catch up and find out how everyone's life, went or was going and everything.
Do you picture yourself returning to Robinson as a theme for a future project? Do you have a future project in mind?
Got one that I'm kind of outlining right now, and it will be based in Robinson as far as that's, but it will be most of the tour will take place outside of Robinson.
Okay.
But there will be that Robinson connection again. So,
Well, I mean, it's, as you say, write what you know. But yeah, I had so much fun reading it and going back because of the shopping, going back to the Lake Mall
Yeah.
and things that no longer
Yeah,
no
I
longer
know.
exist, and Monig's department store, and I mean, just you just
My
get
mom used to
down the
work at
list.
Monings and
Did
everything
she?
during Christmas and everything, every now
Oh
and then.
yeah,
And
yeah.
she,
Downtown Waco
she worked at
was thriving and
McCory's,
bustling, and
yeah. So,
yeah, Cinderella's was down there.
yeah.
I mean, the Bootery.
Well,
I could go on and on.
do you remember Austin Avenue at Christmas?
Oh yeah,
That was just, to me, the most magical place with
right.
the decorations over the avenue and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they always had the Christmas parade, the JC Christmas parade.
Oh yeah.
I actually won the letter writing contest one year.
Did
So,
you?
when I was in first grade, so I got to
That
ride
does
with
not
Santa.
surprise me one bit.
But I had a lot of help with that letter by my granny.
Yeah.
She kind of basically, I wrote it and then she basically helped me kind of fine tune it a little bit, And so my granny was always that one person that just totally loved me, just totally unconditionally, So,
Well, you got to have those people in your lives for sure. So where can folks find your book?
let's see, on Amazon right now.
Okay.
Okay. It will be up on Barnes and Noble, hopefully before Christmas, if not shortly after the first of the year. The ebook will be on, let's see, Apple, shortly.
Okay.
Then there's going to be other smaller platforms that will be on
Are you
too.
considering an audio version?
I have talked about it and
They can handle
yeah.
that here at Rogue Media.
Okay. All right.
If you're-
Well, I may have to talk
No,
to
they
them
do
about
that
it.
a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I could go ahead and put a plug in for them. So if your younger self, your main character, could read this book, what do you think he would say?
It was a good time. Would be one thing he would say. And he would recognize pretty much a lot of reality in that. So I think he would be pleased with it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's quite a compelling read, and it's so much fun. Just on the back cover it says, if you enjoy stories like The Notebook, Forrest Gump, and Dazed and Confused, you will love By the Swing's Gentle Sway by D.H. Grisham. Don, you
Yes,
go by
ma'am,
it,
Don.
Don.
Uh-huh.
So let's talk just a little bit about you touched on what you do for a living.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me about
Okay,
that.
well, I've taught since 2014 at the N1 Marlin campus.
Really?
And it's a women's basically campus. And most of the ladies I deal with, it was drug related type stuff. And I teach life skills, and I also teach a vocational class. As far as my class is actually a customer service class now, to where they can get a certification in customer service, and it helps give them something that not everyone has when they exit. When they go back home and they try to find a job. And so my goal for them is to give them something that will separate them from the pack when they're interviewing with 20 other people or 50 other people.
Yeah.
And so this is one thing that can do it. A good resume is another.
Yeah.
And so we work on that also. And then work on a lot of cognitive skills, because so many of these ladies are addicted to substances that it's hard to shake. And they're going to have every tool they can to fight off that demon of addiction.
Right. And when they're through serving the sentence, then to be able to go to something positive and productive rather than back to the same old demons,
Yes, ma'am.
that will land them right back where
Yeah.
they were.
And the sad part, we a lot of these ladies, they go out and most of them make it actually.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
you always have those that you hear about that, like I heard about one last week that she was in my class in August, and then she has since gone home and she's already using again. She's not back in the system yet, but that will probably follow at
In a
some point
matter
in
of time.
time. So that's the sad side to all this.
Yeah. Choices that are made, and well, for that matter, in your coming of age book, it's all life is made of choices and consequences.
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, we weren't perfect. We we drank, as teenagers. We never did the hard drugs, marijuana a little bit. Some of us dabbled with that, but not much there. Alcohol was more or less what we did. And, most of the guys in the book, and my friends over the years, we didn't grow up in houses that had alcohol. So we kind of got curious on our own and did
Little
stuff like that.
rebellious streak.
Yeah. And most of us did fine. We don't use it much or anything like that. But there's a couple that kind of used it excessively, and it had an impact on their lives,
Yeah, it will for sure. Thank you so much. It's been a delight to get to visit with you about By the Swing's Gentle Sway, DH Grisham. For a first time effort, this is an amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead. I'll tell you that too. Today's show is brought to you by the Wild Watusi. It is really a fun boutique in Hewitt, just down from George's Bar and Grill. So the Wild Watusi. Check it out.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
Studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. us.muc-off.com.
Get ready for a morning of fun and friendly competition with the City of Woodway's first annual Family Field Day celebration happening tomorrow, November 22nd, starting at 9 a.m. Again, enjoy a morning of family fun and friendly competition. You can start the morning off right with the 5K Woodway Wobble Race, then participate in events like the Tug of War, sack races, egg tosses, a pie eating contest, and so much more. Grab a t-shirt, stop by the food trucks, and create a craft to take home. Speaking of good crafts, the Austin Avenue Art Fair is November 22nd and 23rd, coming back to downtown for its third year with their annual celebration of Waco's arts and culture. All weekend long, get to know Waco's talented artists as you explore artist booths and enjoy live music from local bands. There's going to be the Art Walk of Waco, which involves local businesses in which they host artists to create, display, and sell their work. And then there's also going to be an art duel in which skilled artists are timed in a competition to see who create a winning masterpiece, and you get to vote. So be sure to check it out, all happening this weekend. I'm Elizabeth Riley with your Act Locally Waco News, and I will see you next time.
Natural Cycles identifies your fertile window by analyzing changes in your temperature. Just measure in the morning, add your temperature into the app, then learn which days you can and cannot get pregnant. It's that easy. Learn more at naturalcycles.com.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops. Made clean, made to clean.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
If your home's feeling a bit dated or you're dreaming of that beautiful outdoor oasis, I have got the team for you. Gather & Co., the family-owned remodeling pros right here in Greater Waco since 1998. Led by the Falconberry family, they specialize in stunning kitchen and bathroom makeovers. Think custom walk-in showers, sleek cabinetry, and aging-in-place upgrades for easy living. They also nail outdoor spaces with pergolas, patio covers, sunrooms, and screen rooms that turn your backyard into a year-round retreat. What sets them apart? Personalized designs, top-notch craftsmanship, and a hassle-free process for free in-home consultations to spot-on completion, plus financing options to make it simple. Customers love them, raving about the friendly crew and attention to every detail. Ready to gather in your dream home? Call Gather & Co. today, 254-759-1147 for a no-obligation quote.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. Launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You like.
Pretty thing, how you been? Did you visit family from Lauderdale last summer like you said? Well, on me, I'm doing fine, but dreaming playing at the blue light. Maybe someday if I try, but we all know the battle. Good old 7 on the shelf. We got a problem that I think only God can help. If you're leaving, run on and pour me something strong. It's small town survival. Between the bottle and the Bible, yeah. So call me up and tell me, Bill, how your friends are. Whoa, and I'll say mine's a drunk. What's it been, oh, about a month since we broke up? Yeah, that's a messed up way to love. We all know the battle. Good old 7 on the shelf. We got a problem that I think only God can help. If you're leaving, run on and pour me something strong. It's small town survival. Between the bottle and the Bible, tell me, baby, how's it look from the 580? While you're getting all dialed up and he's sitting at home alone. 'Cause we all know the battle. Good old 7 on the shelf. We got a problem that I think only God can help. If you're leaving, run on and pour me something strong. Small town survival. Oh, between the bottle and I'm staying out later, wishing you were here right now. Just give you a kiss. Stealing from the liquor store, trying not to get caught, wishing we were still them kids. Stealing your own daddy's lighter, starting a bonfire in the bed of my truck. I'm staying out later, wishing you were here right now. Right now, I just give you a kiss. Pretty thing, how you been? Did you visit family from Loudon?
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today. Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kitbag. Since 2014, we've been creating vegan, clean, and affordable skincare with proven actives and potent botanicals designed to treat your ever-changing skin. Celebrate our first decade of transformation today at facetheory.com/US-EN. Face Theory.
Tasmanian spring water range from Sand and Sky. This range is really good for dry and dehydrated skin like myself, packed with 2 types of hyaluronic acid, fermented sea kelp to reduce redness, and my skin feels so dewy and so hydrated.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle.
The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade.
It is all natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic.
Hey, Waco, we're coming to you live from the Waco office, and it's time for Waco Weekend with Debbie
and Jonah. We're back bringing you the very best of everything happening in Waco this weekend.
Start your weekend strong by giving back to the community. All Day Friday, KWTX and Caritas of Waco are teaming up for Food for Families to stock food pantries all over town.
Then on Saturday morning at the Crying Bright Arboretum, it's the first ever Woodway Family Field Day. Come out from 8 a.m. to noon with your family for a day of light-hearted competition, and maybe even put your name in the ring for the pie eating contest.
All weekend long is also the Austin Avenue Art Fair, now taking over the Hotel Herringbone on Saturday and Sunday. You can check out live music, local artisans, and so much more.
There's also going to be the art walk happening on Saturday from 11 to 4, and you can come and see me there. Also on Saturday morning is one of many birthday celebrations for businesses across Waco this weekend. The Waco Downtown Farmers Market is turning 14 years old and celebrating at their weekly market starting at 9 a.m. on Saturday. And another birthday celebration is happening at the backyard. They'll be celebrating 10 years of amazing music. They'll be featuring a Red Taylor Swift cover or tribute band, Pat Green, the Huser Brother Band, and so many more local favorite artists. Don't forget, you can always visit the Grackle at wacoan.com for more guides, features, and our weekly Waco Weekend wrap-up every Wednesday. Enjoy your Waco Weekend.
At Covers and All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NordVPN.com.
A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com.